Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today I am again with you for class 12th and we are discussing with the magnetic effects of current and our today's topic is Lorentz force. So as you know that when a charge is placed in an electric field, whether it is at rest or it is moving, it experiences a force due to the electric field and that force is called electric force. Similarly, in the last chapter we have seen that if a charge is moving in a magnetic field, it experiences a magnetic force due to the magnetic field. And there we have discussed three cases that if the charge is at rest placed in a magnetic field, uniform magnetic field, it will not experience any magnetic force. Similarly, if the charge is moving, but it is moving parallel to the direction of the magnetic field or anti-parallel to the direction of the magnetic field, that is in the same direction of the magnetic field or in the opposite direction of the magnetic field, again it will not experience any force. The maximum force that a moving charge will experience in a uniform magnetic field is when it is moving at right angles to the direction of the magnetic field. So, if a charge finds itself in a region where both electric and magnetic fields exist, suppose that in a room there is a magnetic field as well as an electric field. Electric field produced by a source charge and magnetic field produced by the two pole pieces of a bar magnet. Suppose or due to some other source, say a current carrying conductor, it can produce a magnetic field. So if a charge finds itself in a region where both electric and magnetic fields exist, then the charge will experience two forces. One due to the electric field and the other due to the magnetic field. But the condition is the charge must be moving, because if the charge is not moving, then it will experience only one force, that's electric force, but not the magnetic force. Only moving charge experiences a magnetic force. So the total force on the charge, moving charge, will be the sum of the electric force and the magnetic force. The sum of the two forces is called Lorentz force. So force on a moving charge in a uniform magnetic field and an electric field is known as the Lorentz force. Now, the magnitude of the electric force Fe experienced by a charged particle due to the electric field E is given by Fe is equal to QE, because we know that by definition electric field E is equal to electric force divided by charge. E is equal to Fe by Q. We have already discussed about it in the first chapter, that is electrostatics. Now the magnitude of the magnetic force Fb experienced by a charged particle due to a magnetic field B is given by Fb is equal to QVB sine theta. In the last class we discussed it. The magnetic force experienced by a moving charge is equal to QVB sine theta. And if we put it in a vector form, if we write it in a vector form, then Fb will be equal to QV cross B, because A cross B is equal to AB sine theta. Similarly, V cross B will be equal to VB sine theta. Now, what is the Lorentz force? The total force experienced by a charged particle moving with velocity v in an electric field E and magnetic field B is given by this F is equal to Fe plus Fb, because the sum of the two forces, electric force and magnetic force, is called Lorentz force. So here F is the Lorentz force, Fe is the electric force, and Fb is the magnetic force. When we add these two forces, we get a Lorentz force, the total force. So the Lorentz force will become equal to, when we substitute equation first and equation second. In this equation, F is equal to Fe plus Fb. We get F is equal to QE plus QV cross B. And if we take Q common from the two expressions, that is QE and QV cross B, we get Q bracket E plus V cross B. So this is the expression for the Lorentz force. This is the expression for the Lorentz force, and if you want to write it in its magnitudes, then F will be equal to Q E plus VB sine theta. But remember here, which force the charge will experience greater? Which force will be the greater? The electric force or the magnetic force? You have to remember one thing: the electric force is much more greater than the magnetic force. As you can see here, Fe is equal to approximately equal to 10 raised by 27 times Fb. What does it mean? If Fb is 1 Newton, if the magnetic force experienced by a moving charge in a region where both electric and magnetic fields exist is 1 Newton, then the electric force experienced by the same charge will be 10 raised by 27 Newton. So, which means that the magnetic force is almost negligible. The magnetic force is almost negligible. Now, let us take another topic, that is force on a current carrying conductor in a uniform magnetic field. In the previous lecture, we discussed that moving charge experiences a magnetic force when it is placed in a uniform magnetic field. Since current is the assembly of moving charges, when charges move in a particular direction, in one direction, they constitute an electric current. So we expect that in a conductor, we know that there are free electrons, and when a potential difference is applied across the ends of the conductor, these free electrons move in one direction. So these free electrons become an assembly of moving charges, so they constitute an electric current, which is known as electronic current. So we expect that this conductor in which the charges are moving, will also experience a magnetic force when placed in a uniform magnetic field. As you know that a moving charge experiences a sideways force, so the conductor carrying current will also experience a sideways force. Let us consider a conductor, straight conductor PQ of length L, cross-sectional area E, capital E, placed in a uniform magnetic field B at an angle theta. At an angle theta with the magnetic field lines as shown in fig I. This is the fig I. Here theta is the angle between the direction of magnetic field B and the direction of the current, or L, length of the conductor. Let I is the current in that conductor, which is due to the electrons drifting with velocity Vd in a direction opposite to that of the current. So if the electrons are moving from left to right, then the direction of the conventional current I will be from, if the electrons are drifting from right to left, then the direction of conventional current will be from right to left, because electronic current is always opposite to that of conventional current. I is the conventional current, that is the direction of positive charge. As in current electricity, we have derived a relation between the drift velocity and the current, and that was found to be I is equal to E N naught AVD, where E is the charge on an electron, N is the number density, A is the cross-sectional area of the conductor, and Vd is the drift velocity. The magnetic force Fm experienced by an electron is given by using the equation Fm is equal to Q V cross B, which means Fm is equal to E for Q, the charge of an electron is E, and here velocity is the drift velocity of the electrons, that is Vd cross B. Or if we write it in magnitudes, then Fm will be equal to EVd B sine theta. EVd B sine theta. Now consider a small current CD of length dl. Then volume of the element dl is V is equal to AdL. For example, if you take the volume of the cylinder, then it is the volume of the cylinder is equal to height into the cross section area of the cross section, that is A. So here the volume of the element dl will be equal to V is equal to AdL, and the total number of electrons in the current element of volume V is given by N is equal to capital N is the total number of electrons. N naught is the number of electrons per unit volume, that is number density into V. Suppose if there are 10 electrons in 1 cubic meter, then the total number of electrons in a volume of 10 cubic meter will be equal to 1 into 10. Suppose if there are 5 electrons in 1 cubic meter, then the total number of electrons in a volume of 10 cubic meter will be 5 into 10. So capital N is the total number of electrons in the conductor. N naught is the number of electrons per unit volume, that is number density, and V is the volume of the conductor. So capital N will be equal to N naught into V. So when we substitute the value of V, capital N becomes equal to N naught AdL, because V is equal to AdL. Now the force experienced by N electrons due to current element dl is given by dF is equal to N into Fm, which implies dF is equal to N naught AdL into EVd B sine theta. dF is the force experienced by N electrons, while Fm is the force experienced by 1 electron. So if there are 100 electrons and the force on 1 electron is 5 Newton, then the total force dF will be equal to 100 into 5, that's 500 Newton. So dF is equal to capital N into Fm, which implies dF is equal to, we substitute value of N which we have calculated above, and value of Fm which already we have calculated. So dF will be equal to N naught AdL into EVd B sine theta, which implies dF is equal to En naught AVd dl B sine theta. So En naught AVd is equal to I. This implies dF is equal to I dl B sine theta, because E naught AVd is equal to 1. So if we put it in a vector form, then dF will be equal to I dl cross B. I dl cross B. B is uniform over the length of the conductor. The total force F experienced by the conductor is given by integrating this equation. By integrating equation, that is dF is equal to I dl B sine theta. So the total force experienced by the current carrying conductor will be equal to F is equal to dF integration of dF, that is integration of I dl B sine theta. Since I and B are constants, theta is also a constant, so this will be I B sine theta into dl, which implies F is equal to I BL sine theta, because integration of dl is L. And if we write equation 2 in vector form, we get F is equal to I B cross L, because B cross L will be equal to BL sine theta. Now here we will discuss some special cases. The first case is if theta is equal to 0, that is the angle between the length of the conductor L and the direction of magnetic field B is 0. Then F will be equal to IBL sine 0. Sine 0 is 0, which implies F is equal to 0. It means that a linear conductor does not experience any magnetic force when placed parallel to the direction of the magnetic field B. Similarly, if theta is equal to pi, it will again we can prove that F will be equal to 0. What does it mean? If it is now, if the conductor is placed anti-parallel to the direction of the magnetic field, then the force experienced by the linear conductor will be 0. It will not experience any magnetic force again. So theta should not be equal to 0, theta should not be equal to pi. Now if theta is equal to 90 degree, then F will be equal to ILB sine 90, sine 90 is 1. This implies F will be equal to ILB. It means that a linear conductor experiences a maximum force when placed at right angles to the direction of the magnetic field B. A linear conductor will experience a maximum force when placed at right angles to the direction of the magnetic field B. Now direction of force. Which direction the linear conductor will experience a force? Will it go right ways? Will it go left ways? Will it go upwards? Will it go downwards? Where will it go when it is placed in a magnetic field? The direction of that force is given by Fleming's left hand rule. As you can see from the field here, we have already used this Fleming's left hand rule to find the direction of the force in case of a moving charge in a magnetic field. When a charge was moving in a uniform magnetic field, we used this Fleming's left hand rule. Here we will again apply it. As I have already told you, if the thumb is sorry, if the first finger is in the direction of the magnetic field B, the center finger is in the direction of the charge, in the direction of the velocity of the charge. So here it is not the velocity of the charge, here it is the direction of the current. So the first finger is in the direction of magnetic field, uniform magnetic field B, the center finger is in the direction of the current. Then the thumb will be in the direction of the magnetic force. So what we have to stretch the thumb, the first finger and the center finger of our left hand such that they are mutually perpendicular to each other. They are mutually perpendicular to each other. Then if the first finger points in the direction of magnetic field B, the center finger points in the direction of the current, then thumb will point in the direction of the magnetic force experienced by a linear conductor. The SI unit of magnetic field B is Tesla, and 1 Tesla is equal to 10 raised to power 4 Gauss. The another unit of the smaller unit of magnetic field is Gauss, that is 10 raised to power 4 Gauss. 1 Tesla is equal to 10 raised to 4 Gauss. So tomorrow we will discuss another topic, that is cyclotron. Inshallah. See you tomorrow. Thank you.